What is up, gamers? Today I'm going to be modifying the power LED of this red DS Lite. We can see it's green, it's boring, don't mind the screens. Now it's red, that's also pretty boring. So we're going to be modding the color, going to be switching around the orange, green, and red LEDs. So let's get right into it. First thing is first, we remove these rubber pads here. Now we can remove the battery door screw. Get the battery door out, and the battery. Now we have 4 Phillips screws right here that we can all remove. Alright, now I have 4 Y screws that we can remove. One here, one here, one here, and then one up there. Now I'm going to pry up at the cartridge port and then get my fingernails under here and slide it around and lift up. So we need to get the motherboard free in order to mod the LEDs because I'll be using my hot air station. I'm going to take up this Wi-Fi chip, disconnect it from that cable, and now we can slide this black cable underneath the cartridge port. I want to be pretty gentle. Don't want to tug it too much. Sometimes it can get stuck like this, but it usually finds its way out. Now we can get this last motherboard screw out. Open up the digitizer clamp. Get that cable out. Now we can open the board. Put my fingers here to push it up. Remove that top screen cable. And now we can get our bottom LCD out and free. So I'm not gonna add an LED. I'm not gonna add like blue or yellow or purple or pink or anything. I'm just gonna switch around the LEDs that are already on it. And doing so has been made incredibly easy thanks to our friends over at Joy Alens. They have sponsored this video and they have provided me a microscope. This is the Joy Alens 4K 60 FPS JL210S Plus. This thing is, I'll tell you, this thing is awesome. So here we have the microscope. It's a 4K microscope. Look at that. This microscope has 2 clamps to hold my motherboard in place while I work. It has LEDs to light up the area and to light up the screen while I work, which is super, super handy. And it has a built-in recording function so that you guys can see up close and in high quality exactly what I'm doing. Up in the back here, it's powered by a USB-C port, and then that's the micro SD card that records. And that right there is an HDMI port. So with this HDMI port, I'm able to plug in an HDMI cable, and then what's being seen on the microscope is now seen on my big monitor. The microscope even holds tools like my solder and like my precise tweezers. I can just stick them right in there. Another hugely amazing feature about this microscope are these. It comes with 4 detachable gray pieces. You can sort out screws. They're numbered. They have these flaps that you can open and close with really nice hinges for every single one. Compartments. I mean, this thing is just absolutely amazing. All right, so I'm getting the motherboard hooked up here. These arms are super strong. They're super nice. They hold it firm 100%, so I can solder exactly how I need to solder. So I'm going to shift the board over here so we can see on the microscope exactly what I'm going to be soldering. So now if I shift this over to the microscope, we can see those are the LEDs that I'll be soldering. And now we can focus the camera right on. Absolutely perfect. So now if I hit this record button, it's going to go into recording mode. And now I hit OK. And it's going to start recording for me. See in the top corner, it's recording. So now we'll switch over to that and let's get these LEDs installed. So what we need to do here, this LED right here is the green one. This one underneath it is the red one. And then this one right here is the orange one. So since this is a crimson red DS, I want to make the red LED the main green LED. So I'm going to swap the red LED into where the green LED goes. And then I want the low power LED to be orange. So when the console has full battery, it'll be red. When it has low battery, it'll be orange. And then when it's charging, it'll be green. So I'm just going to swap these LEDs all around just because I think it's super cool. Got to heat up my hot air station. So I'm going to want to be blowing heat on here for a good little bit to get the solder all melted. And I'm going to start to wiggle. All right, so that's our green LED. And this is our red LED. Oh, it blew. Blue. All right, so now that I have removed our LEDs, I'm going to add some more solder with my soldering iron. Just going to touch a little bit of solder to it. And I'm going to dab it onto each and every one of these contact points just to give it a little more solder so it's easier for me to install the LEDs with the hot air station. All right, so now we'll come in with our red LED and we'll put it where our green one was. Okay, it's on. It doesn't have to be straight as long as it's solid. And you move the board with it, it's perfect. So now let's get the orange LED, heat the solder back up again, put it in place, and we can move our hot air station away so it cools down. And again, we move it, it's solid. That's what we want to see. So now lastly, our green LED. I'm going to move the board to this angle. Sorry, you guys can barely see this. But okay, we've put it in place. Let it cool down. Things got a little burnt from the continued heat, but that's pretty normal. Nothing to worry about. So now we can get our battery and test. So it should be red. Cool. You see that top one? It's red. And when I disconnect the battery, you should see the bottom orange LED flash. And you do. The orange LED flashed. So now, if we hook it up to a charger, our green LED should turn on. Voila, that's awesome. So this is perfect. This is all ready to go. Thanks to our microscope, that was made really easy. I could see everything super clearly. Thank you again, Joy Aliens, for sponsoring this video. You guys are absolutely amazing, and this is honestly such a high quality product. I love it so much. Back to assembly, now that we have soldered up our LEDs. Not the prettiest job, but they work totally fine, and they are strong. That is what matters. So now we can get our bottom LCD plugged back in. Plug the digitizer cable in. Now we can plug it back into here. Get that top screen plugged in, being super gentle. Close the flap. Now we can just drop this board right back in. No issues whatsoever. Now let's get our motherboard screws back in. And this DS had a bad R button, so I'm going to open it up and clean its contacts really quickly. See this blueness? That is bad. It should be clear, clear, clear. Same thing for in here. We're going to scrape it a little bit and then clean it with my toothbrush. Now we can get this back in place. As we see now, it's shiny. That's how we want it. There we go. Now we can put this gray piece in and close the flap. So this R button should be working like new again. And we can see it still clicks great. So now we can plug our microphone cable in. Gonna stretch this guy as straight as possible. And now that it's underneath the cartridge port, we can plug our Wi-Fi chip back in and then plug this cable back into the chip. Cool. So now we can get our shoulder buttons back in place. Just like that, and then our other one became disassembled. So first I like to put the rod in here, and then I like to hold the spring while I get the shoulder button in it, just like that, and then put it right over the rod, and then in its place. Okay, so now, next step, the bottom plate. Make sure this is all the way down. You do not want it up. If it's up and you put it down, your power switch may break. That's not very epic. So now, hold it down, and then plop it in place. So now I can get these screws right back in. Get the rubber pads back on. We can put our battery back in place. Our battery door back in place. Get it screwed on. And this DS should be all good to go. So now, turn it on. So that's actually full power. Yeah. And see, it just went to low power. See, now it's orange. And then if we plug it in, we'll see it goes back to red because that's full now, and green is the new charging light. That's super cool, man. This DS Lite, it works totally fine, but we can see there's dead pixels on both screens, and then there's slight liquid damage to both screens as well. So this guy, I'm going to be auctioning off on my eBay store. If you guys are interested, I'll leave a link to that in the description. See how it's green? And now it's on red. It's orange now. That's so cool. That's how you do an LED swap. Now, if you're only changing the green LED out with, say, a blue or a purple one, you need to buy a 0603 SMD LED. That's exactly what it is. You can find those on eBay for super cheap. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Enjoy Aliens. Thank you so much again for sponsoring this video. I absolutely love the microscope. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.